Let me tell you about the time I got sued after getting a tip about the former police chief in Elizabeth. A town of about 2,200 people. Elizabeth and Edgewater sit 45 miles apart, but in a bit we'll explain how this story connects the two. I interviewed the person who knows the details best, myself. I got a tip last summer that Elizabeth's chief left abruptly. Could be worth looking into, and so I made a public record request. That public record request centered on this man, Melvin Berghahn, who Elizabeth promoted to police chief in 2021. I got a tip about his departure from late 2022 that led me to seek, through a public records request, his disciplinary history. Elizabeth did not respond with that public record, but with, of all things, a lawsuit. A lawsuit that listed me as the defendant. It was totally shocking. I was really surprised. We were going back and forth a little bit, and then one day their town attorney emailed me out of the blue, notifying me that he had filed a lawsuit already the day before. And I was just very surprised. Court is slow. It's taken months, but it was recently resolved in our favor. In short, we won, they lost, and invoices show Elizabeth spent about $5 per resident, or more than $11,000 litigating the case. We asked the town administrator why they sued. He said they feared Mr. Berghahn could sue them unless a court ordered the town to release a record. In the end, a judge ordered them to release this memo, a memo that Elizabeth shouldn't have tried to keep secret, says Colorado's Freedom of Information Coalition Executive Director Jeff Roberts.
A memo like this that outlines why a police chief is not running his department in the proper way is something that a community is entitled to know.
The letter they sued to withhold was a notice of their intent to terminate him. And it said that he was leading through a culture of fear and intimidation, and that maintaining him as police chief would be a risk, and it was a risk that the town administrator was not willing to take. The letter detailed 3 reasons to fire Berghahn. One was what was described as roughhousing, but that was explained as hitting a person in the groin. He never got fired. Instead, the town announced his resignation. Staying consistent, Elizabeth won't explain what happened. Anyway, remember when I mentioned Edgewater? Out of work in early 2023, Berghahn applied to be the new Edgewater Police commander. On his application, he did not disclose Elizabeth's plan to fire him, records show. He wrote he left because of a, quote, lack of job stability/support that created work-life imbalance. Edgewater's police chief declined an interview with us, and he wouldn't specifically say whether or not he knew Elizabeth planned to fire his commander. However, he isn't concerned. He emailed, he, quote, was and still am confident in his abilities to serve our community. Berghahn started working in Edgewater as a police commander about a year ago. The city offered him a starting salary of $122,000. Aaron Adelson, 9 News.
We wanted to include Melvin Berghahn's perspective. He emailed us to say he had no comment about his tenure in Elizabeth and that he feels excited to be part of the leadership team in Edgewater.